right. Good evening. Sorry for my tardiness. We have some new members that are joining us this evening as youth advisors, and just kind of getting them prepared to what their expectations are and how this is all going to work moving forward, kind of giving some briefing about tonight's meeting. I'm going to call the motion to order for the Hermiston City Council Urban Renewal Agency for April 11th, 2022. With a declaration of a quorum, all members present. Please join me in the flag salute. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. So welcome everybody this evening. Mr. Smith, any changes to the agenda? Okay. So let me introduce our youth advisors this evening. Miss Elizabeth Doherty, who we got to meet last week, and she got to introduce herself. Tonight we have Julissa Gonzalez Mendoza, right? So Julissa, is that how you pronounce it? Would you like, go ahead and push your, there you go, your microphone, and introduce yourself. Tell us a little bit about yourself. Thank you. Welcome to City Council, and we appreciate you participating with us and looking forward to your feedback. And Manuel Salazar. Manuel, welcome.
Hello, my name is Manuel Salazar, and thank you for having me today. I'm a sophomore at Hermiston High School, and I'm part of the band and the choir, and the digital arts program. And yeah, I'm happy to be here tonight. Thank you.
Perfect. Well, welcome aboard, guys. We appreciate you joining us, and we're looking forward to having some youth opinion and advice on the City Council. Mr. Bacon, I see Mr. Bacon sitting back there. Hermiston School District updates. Welcome.
Evening. Welcome aboard, Bulldogs. I'll jump right into it tonight. At the board meeting, we were able to recognize some of our students from the high school. Specifically, our FFA students who brought home some hardware over the last month. So for state champions from FFA, they honored tonight at the board meeting was Ainsley McCann for creed speaking and Kylie Temple for job interviews. So excellent job to them. As far as for the conduct chapter meetings, comprised of all freshmen. So we're excited to see what they're going to do in the next 3 years. But they went ahead and decided to win a state championship out of that too. So that was pretty exciting. And then at the state level, we're honored to be able to have Grant Hills, who was elected as next year's Oregon FFA vice president. So that's pretty exciting to have him representing us at the state level for all of next year. Our FCCLA team also participated in the state, and they were able to bring home a silver medal from the state leadership conference, and that was composed of Ashley Treadwell, Andrea Sanchez Gravato, Vicky Franco, Karina Olvera, Ace Osorio Estrada, and again, they brought home silver medals, so pretty exciting for them and well represented with our FCCLA, which, just so everybody's aware, is our Family, Career, and Community Leaders of America. So that program is growing at the high school. Also, our dance team brought home some more hardware, and they brought home state championship in dance for show dance, and then also in jazz dance as well. So pretty exciting there. We've got 331 athletes out for spring sports right now. I'm not sure they're all super pumped about this week, but they're going to get through it. We'll see how they hold up there. And then we're also really excited to be able to announce that we're bringing back driver's ed this summer. We have folks going and being trained up in the Grand area in the upcoming weeks. So that's a resource that's going to be helpful to some of our families. It'll initially be open for our Hermiston students, and then if that doesn't fill up all the way, we'll open that up and allow and be able to have neighboring districts come in as well. So, and then our summer programs continue to evolve. So planning process is happening. We've got a meeting with the secondary coordinators this week to hopefully begin getting information out to our parents. So that is a quick what's going on after spring break.
Right on. Well, welcome back from spring break. Exciting to see the success of our students at the FFA, FCCLA, and the dance. Two-time state champions, too. This is the second year in a row, if I remember right, because at the Booster Club auction last year, I bought the first ever state championship picture of the championship dance team of Washington State. It was their first championship. So it was pretty cool for them. 2 times in a row. That's pretty awesome. So how's the hiring season going? Are you getting into that and trying to staff up for next year, and how's that looking?
Better. What's been really interesting is the addition of Loma Vista and the challenges with opening a new building and just adjusting staff and then hiring in the middle of that as well. So elementary, we're in a pretty good spot right now. We currently do not have any grade level classroom positions. They're posted right now, but we are solid right there. Resignations will start coming in a little more frequently this time of year. So we expect to have a few more. Secondary, we're in a pretty good spot. We've got Sandstone's interviewing for a counselor and PE positions next week. So we're a lot better than we were a while ago.
Good. That's exciting. I know it's been a tough couple years for students and teachers. So.
Well, and we began the process earlier this year than we ever have before. Normally, it's April, and we're running our first round of interviews, and we actually began in February this year. So,
right on. So I understand the building construction is still on track and scheduled to open for the fall, and should finish up on construction. It's amazing how fast it's come along.
And it's neat to walk in and see when you walk in and tour looking at it, like they're painting in one section and then just putting drywall up in another. So it's cool to see how it just morphs through
All right.
it.
Any questions for Mr. Bacon? Students? Nothing. All right. Thank you, Mr. Bacon.
Yep. Have a good night.
We also have a presentation this evening from the Chamber of Commerce, and I see Exec Director Val Hoxie out there. Welcome. Good to see you back.
Good evening. Well, I'm happy to be here again tonight and want to express my gratitude to everybody for their support during my first 6 months navigating this role. I think I have my feet under me a little bit with the help, of course, of Amy and the community. So with that, I'll share you some of the successes of the Chamber from the last few months. DCA was able to move forward this year. We were happy to be together. We learned a few things. I feel like, it was trial and error. It was my first year. But I feel like the recipients were honored, and that made the evening a success. We've been hosting some workforce classes. I'm not sure if any of you have caught those on Facebook, but those have been really great for the community. We've had resume building, childcare. They're live on Facebook. You can also ask for a word point presentation of those. Those have been really great. We have some great feedback of those. We partnered with the city and hosted a job fair. Thank you, Nancy, for helping with that. It was fantastic. We learned a lot about the community, I think, during that time. I think people are ready to network again. So we've learned some from that. Let's see. Hermiston Live, the community calendar, that is one of my most exciting things right now. I don't know if you've seen that as well, but it's kind of an all-encompassed place where folks can go and they can look at what's going on at EOTech, Parks and Rec, Chamber, the community, one-stop shop. We love that. Have you guys seen that? Yeah, that's been well received. So then tomorrow evening, we'll be hosting the candidates forum here. We've invited the city council as well as commissioners, county commissioners. That's been well received as well. I'm looking forward to that. Angela Purcell will be moderating. This Wednesday, we're offering a new opportunity for business owners. This is going to be called Business Support Connection. It'll be a business service where we're going to have a specialist from OED come out and just sit for like 3 hours. And if you own a business in the community and you're looking for employees, it's a great time to come connect, find out how to have a job fair, post jobs, that kind of thing. So that's going to be a really fantastic resource. It's our first one, so we may learn a lot from that as well. But we should watch that grow, I think. Business lunches are going to start again. We're going to have Facebook postings about that. Watch for that to come through. We're going to host it here. We learned that from the job fair. People are ready to connect, so we're happy to offer that service. And then our final thing that we have coming down is a Doggy Dash 3K. So that's just something fun that we're throwing in there for the community. And again, you can watch Facebook or our page and see what that looks like. And I think that's about what we have going on.
Thank you, Val. When is the Doggy Dash?
I think we've decided on June 4th, and we're going to have it at the Butte. We're looking for vendors to come. We're partnering with Parks and Rec. Part of the proceeds are going to go to rebuilding the dog park. Well, just updating.
Yeah.
And then to Fuzzballs.
To what?
Fuzzballs. It's a
Fuzzballs?
local, well, really it's a rescue. It's a pet rescue. And they take animals that have been abandoned or need surgery, and they respond at 24 hours a day. And they do that, and it costs a lot of money. They need some funds, so.
I know the hospital that does the Butte Challenge 5K, is that the weekend after, or is that the same weekend?
Weekend after. We
Okay.
try to coordinate with everybody so
Good.
we don't step on anybody's toes.
Well, it's
so.
nice to have a community calendar, so
It
that'll
is,
help
it
with
helps.
that.
And this is a 3K-ish, so this isn't really, it's kind of just bring your dog and walk around and see dog vendors and things like that. It'll just be a fun way to raise money.
One of the things that I heard from the, when you guys did the job fair,
Yeah.
great turnout. I was really impressed with the community and the businesses that were willing to show up and put together a booth, and
It was amazing.
yeah. Not enough people, though, showed up for it. And so one of the things I had thought about, is there an opportunity for the chamber to market the openings of all of those people that were here that may still have openings, and either have it on your website or some central location? If I was out looking for a job, hey, Lamb Weston needs 8 people, or whoever, having a centralized location that people could go look that were at that job fair. So an extension of that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And that's what we're partnering with OED, the Oregon Employment Department and Workforce, to do.
Perfect.
Yeah, we're hoping to be more involved in that. We like to listen to the community and what the needs are of the businesses, because that's what the chamber does, is support businesses. And right now, that's a need, so yeah, we're looking into that.
The other thing that we used to do before COVID, we used to celebrate student successes, and so the chamber hosted Breakfast of Champions. So once a quarter, we would host an event here. All of the students, or all the schools, would get to nominate a champion from their school, and the chamber, myself, Representative Smith, gave them an award for their recognition. And it
Oh, I
wasn't
love
necessarily the best athlete or the smartest kid in the class. It might have been a kid that just worked the hardest every day. And so it was always great success stories that we could celebrate once a quarter. And so the chamber led that effort in the past. I think Seroptimus sponsored the breakfast. And so they had a breakfast, they brought their families, and we got to recognize them once every 3 months. So it's kind of a neat event. I would love to see that come back. It's always one of my favorite events to do of the year. So
I love
we'd love to
hearing
partner
that.
with you on that again.
Yeah, I'd love to do that. I'd like to learn more about that.
Yeah, so I think Mr. Bacon's already taken off, but we might wrap the school district in.
What
and
did you say that was called?
Breakfast of Champions.
Breakfast of Champions.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, it was a fun event, and it recognized all kind of the West End schools. So I don't think was Echo still here? Yeah. So all the West End communities, Echo, Stanfield, Hermiston, Umatilla, Hermiston Junior Academy, Hermiston Christian School, all got to participate in that process. So it was a pretty big crowd in here.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a great event.
Yeah, we'll definitely learn more about that.
Okay, thank you.
Mhm.
How about other questions from the council?
Can you
Ms.
please
Duran?
tell us the address for the community calendar one more time?
It's hermistonlive.com. You can also go to our website. You can go to the Parks and Rec website and EOTech's website, and it's on all of those.
Perfect, thank you.
The quickest way is almost just to Google Hermiston Live.
It is.
And then you'll find it.
Mhm.
Any other questions, councilors? Okay.
All right.
Thank you, Val. Thank you, Amy. All right, now we're at the first opportunity for citizen input on non-agenda items. So if there are members of the community that would like to address the council, please come up to the microphone up front. Introduce yourself by name and address, direct your comments to me, and try and limit them to not more than 5 minutes. No takers this evening. All right. Consent agenda items A through C. Any of those need to be pulled? No? Any public comments on consent agenda items A through C? Elizabeth, do you want to comment about any of those? Yeah. I saw your hand go up. No, I'm just kidding, because your father is on here. That's what I was wondering. All right. Can I get a motion to approve consent agenda items A through C?
So moved. Second.
It's been moved by Councilor Primer, seconded by, I think it was Councilor Harden? Yes. That we approve consent agenda items A through C. Roll call.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes.
Motion passes unanimously. Ordinances and resolutions. Ordinance 2338, LID number 222 assessment. Mr. Smith?
Yes, so this is the ordinance we discussed at our last meeting. The ordinance in front of you has the amounts changed to reflect a $250,000 contribution to the LID from the city. I think we walked through it last time in quite a bit of detail. We really don't have a lot. This was what we were directed to bring back. I did want to just this was our first LID in probably about 20 years. So I think we learned a few things about improving our communication, but I would agree we made a commitment. We needed to keep it. Unfortunately, I think if we would have communicated differently up front, we could have had a different discussion last time. But this is where we're at. We're recommending approval of the ordinance as drafted. Oh, do you have?
All right, Mayor requests first reading for the ordinance be read by title only and calls for a roll call. Roll call.
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Mayor, I have a conflict.
Okay.
Yes.
Yes.
Motion passes 7-0 with one abstention. Mr. Tubby?
I'm sorry, real quick.
Yes.
We wanted to, because we're doing this new, if you can comment in person, you can comment electronically.
Yes.
And so we just received an email.
Okay. Is
Wanted-
now the time for public comment? I have that later in my
Okay,
agenda.
we can do that then. Is that good?
Yeah.
Okay. So.
Yep.
now you-
I'll ask for public comment later.
Okay.
Okay.
Reading by title only, ordinance number 2338, an ordinance providing for the final assessment for local improvement district number 322 for the installation of paving, water main and sewer main in the vicinity of Southeast 10th Street and Campbell Drive, apportionment of cost of property benefited, assessment against benefited properties to be a charge and lien upon, and establishing a system of collection.
Thank you. Is your microphone on, Mr. Tubby?
Probably, and I just wasn't talking.
There you
close
go. Now
enough
it's
to
better.
it.
Yeah, thank you. May I request that the ordinance be put on for final adoption at this meeting and the second reading be by title only and calls for a roll call? Roll call?
Yes.
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 Abstain.
Yes.
Yes.
Motion passes 7-0 with one abstention. Ms. Davis. Mr. Tubby.
Second reading by title, ordinance number 2338, an ordinance providing for the final assessment for local improvement district number 322 for the installation of paving, water main and sewer main in the vicinity of Southeast 10th Street and Campbell Drive, apportionment of cost to property benefited, assessment against benefited properties to be a charge and lien upon, and establishing a system of collection.
All right, thank you, Mr. Tubby. Any comments from the council? I think the action you're taking this evening is very appropriate based on, the presentation from last time, and I appreciate the administration's willingness to come back with a different recommendation. And so, it's not often that the community feels heard or has the opportunity to change the direction of governance. And so last meeting, I think that was that opportunity, and I think the council heard a concern, agreed with that concern, and addressed that concern. And so I appreciate the council's willingness to make sure that we're open and listening to the community and doing what they feel is best. And so I think this evening's action is appropriate. Any public comment of persons present? Okay, I guess we have one online. Yes. Okay. So we had an email public comment.
Right, and if the council would like, I could read it.
Yes, please.
Good evening. We want to say thank you to the City Council for addressing the matter raised by property owners at the March 28th meeting regarding the LID assessments. We approve the new assessment values labeled March 29th Notice of Final Assessment that are being presented this evening. The project is such an improvement that area, which was tumbleweeds and dirt. The city has done a good job keeping us informed on the process from beginning to end as well. Sincerely, Craig and Jenna Evans.
Perfect. Well, they were ones that were here last time and spoke, and so
Yes.
nice to feel like they were heard and they appreciated our response. Any other comments from the council? Okay. Can I get a motion that ordinance number 2338 be adopted and become effective 30 days after adoption by the City Council?
So moved.
Second.
Is that Ms. Duran?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. Councilor Duran motioned and seconded by Mr. Spicer-Coon that ordinance number 2338 be adopted and become effective 30 days after adoption by the City Council. Roll call.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Abstain.
Yes.
Yes.
Motion passes unanimously, 7-0 with one abstention. Ms. Davis? Ms. Smith, goal setting report adoption.
Yes, so the council participated in a goal setting in conjunction with city staff earlier this year. This final report that's before you tonight reflects the kind of the work of that goal setting process. And then after that, the staff added some dates and people who are responsible for those items that have been incorporated into the report by Sarah. And so we're presenting this and requesting that the report be adopted.
Okay. Council, any questions about the report or the action items, the dates attached, any of that sort of stuff? These are your goals. These are the directions that you're providing for the administration about how we proceed as a city moving forward. And so tonight's your opportunity to modify or change those if you feel so implied or inclined. Any questions about them? Just so the public's aware, we go through a 2-day kind of review of the status of where we're at as a city and a community, and go over past goals, how we've met them or not met them, and what we look like for the future. And so we discussed that with the administration, with department heads, as a council, and it's a facilitated conversation that really is an enjoyable part of what we do every year, and it helps set out the guidance and the direction for the administration to provide, budgeting around and workforce around, and helps provide a clear path of what the council would like to see happen with the city over the course of the next several years. So it's a fun process to participate in. I've enjoyed it for the last 7 or 8 years that we've been doing it, and we always come out with some excellent goals, and hopefully the community can agree on those goals. So, listening throughout the year to the concerns within our community, whether we're talking about workforce or transportation or housing or homelessness or mental health, the council's thinking and trying to address those as a community and how we can make this a better place to live. So, any comments from the council, questions, concerns? Yes, Mr. Harden.
I just think it's a well-done document, and I'm looking forward to seeing those goals being met, and I think I'm impressed with the results of it.
Yeah, we often don't slow down enough to celebrate the successes of some of our achievements too, and so it does give us a time to reflect upon our past goals and see some of the successes of those. So it's a fun process. Other questions? Comments? How about public? Oh, did you have a question, Mr. Bell? Comment?
It was more of a comment. I've made this comment in the past, but for the council, it's really great knowing that a lot of the goals that we set in 2040 that the community saw as a major goal, the council has already been working on. So the blending of community goals and city council goals weren't too far off to begin with, and I think this strategic plan for the next 20 years just gives us a foundation on where to go, gives us some flexibility, and makes us feel productive in all the goals that we want to achieve, because there is a lot of goals to complete over the next 20 years. I think this makes it chunkable, manageable, and gives us a really clear vision of where we want to be. So I'm really, really proud of the result that the Hermiston 2040 committee came out with, and thank Sarah for her work and a lot of hard work, and the committee as well, to come up with this product.
Other comments? Youth advisors. Did you have an opportunity to look at the goals that we set forward? Any thoughts on it? This is your community. You're going to have to grow up here. You're going to have to live with these. So, this is a great opportunity. So in the future, it'd be nice to tie in one of the youth advisors or two in that process too. And because we're trying to provide, the shade at which our students and younger generation gets to sit under. And so if it's not the shade tree you want, you need to help tell us that. So making sure that you are participating in that process, I think, is an awesome opportunity for you to make a difference in your community.
So, Mayor, do they have this report?
Yeah, they were given they have access to the agenda in the packet.
Okay.
And so I'm sure we could get them a physical copy if they would.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Yeah, to read through. But I'm not sure what they would do with all that paper. They're so used to electronics. Do they even know what books are anymore?
Be nice.
Everything's so electronic anymore. All right. Okay, so any other public comment this evening about the goal-setting report and its adoption? All right, seeing none. Can I get a motion to adopt the goal-setting report as presented?
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved by Councilor Davis, seconded by Councilor Primer, that we accept the goal-setting report as presented. Roll call.
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes.
Motion passes unanimously. Okay, we're on the third quarter fiscal year 2022 investment report. Mr. Smith.
Yes, I'll ask Mr. Kay to walk us through the details.
All right, Mr. Kay. Welcome.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, Council.
9 months into the year, and not a lot of good news to talk about in the third quarter. We'll go forward. Let's turn this on, Mark. So what happened in the third quarter? It's probably going to go down. I've been doing this for over 40 years, but it's probably going to go down as one of the worst years, if not the worst year in the bond market in 40 years. And most of the reason we all, I think, would know is what happened in Ukraine the late part of February and all through March brought that down. Currently, anticipation the Fed will raise the discount rate by 50 points at their May committee meeting. That should have a positive impact on the market. And I've seen actually movement in the market in the last 2 weeks that anticipation of the increase is already being priced into instruments. So things are improving a little bit, but I'm not going to say they're going to improve a lot. We have 2 maturities over the next 9 months, a little amount of $75,000 in September, and then we have a bullet maturity of $500,000 in January of '23. That's going to work in our favor because that bullet will allow us to further diversify the portfolio. It's in a it's in a Farmer Mac maturity with one of the agencies of the government, and we'll be able to spread that amount of money around to where we can diversify the maturities in the portfolio and take advantage of some longer rates out in the future. As I just say that over the next 18 months. And lastly, on April 7th, the State Treasurer, Office of the State Treasurer, had increased our LGIP rate to 65 basis points from 55. So when they raise their rate, that's usually a good indication that better things are coming, because they lag what goes on in Wall Street. They're quick to drop, but slow to raise. That's just their history. So if we take a look, and I try to make this readable, and I know it's not to the people that are here sitting tonight, our corporate portfolio only went down 63 basis points in value. I would like to stress to the council, I give those indications to show you the value of the portfolio, but we have a buy and hold strategy. We do not try to play the market to try to make money. We invest, and we tend to hold to maturity. So I give you valuations to give you an indication of what the market's doing. We're not losing money because I'm not trying to manipulate our portfolio to make money. I just look at our maturities to make sure we get our money at maturity. We look at the corporate energy and consumer discretionary. Those 2 market segments have done well relative to the rest of the portfolio. All of our total corporate bonds were 3 basis points below value. And that's a tribute to our financial advisor, Don Leak, with Lone Pine Advisory Services, because we have positioned the portfolio to try to weather downturns and not go up real fast on the upside. So I'm very pleased with that performance on the corporate bonds. On municipal bonds and callable and bullet agencies, the bullet agencies with the Treasury were hit the hardest because the curve inverted. And when I say a curve inverts, usually the longer out you invest, the higher the rate. Well, in an inverted environment, which is where we are, short-term rates were actually for a while higher than the long-term rates. That's not a normal occurrence in the market. So the longer ones out here, 2 and 3 years, took a beating. And so this happens. But again, we're going to hold all of those to maturity unless they're called. And this is one that is not going to be an issue. So I think we're doing okay. Our municipals have held up really well. I would also say that, or did I get to it? Yeah, there it is. That's the bullet that's going to mature in January of 500,000. And then this second one is the 75,000 Oceanside that it will mature, and they probably will be rolled back into these individual portfolios. I will not do something with corporate bonds with these, because this particular mix serves us very well in our mix in the portfolio. And then the overall characteristics, you see what we have at par, the LGIP balance, total investments at 331, we're $8,491,000. What we consider liquidity on full faith and credit, and that's something we could access within 36 hours, is just short of $5 million. I do not include in LGIP monies the ARPA funds because I consider those restricted, although they're invested in LGIP. I always hold those out separate in the LGIP balance. When we throw that back into the mix, our total portfolio is $10.4 million. You can see our percentages on the metrics at the upper right. Corporates are 35 is the target. They are 31.7 of the portfolio. Agencies and treasuries, there is no restriction, but they are 18%. Municipals at 10, they're a little overweight as I mentioned a couple of quarters ago, but with the maturity that we're going to have, they'll probably come back in line. And then LGIP is 39. Two important features of what we target: weighted average maturity. We like to keep the portfolio no more than an average of 2.5 years to maturity. So we have the ability to make changes as we need to. According to the market, we're at 2.45, and we don't want to be above 75% callable. We're at 66%. So the portfolio, given what's happened in the third quarter, basically in the last month, I think is very well positioned as we go forward. I'd be glad to stand for any questions.
Questions, council? Yeah, Mr. Spicer-Coon.
Yes. I just had one question now. All these funds, or all this money in here, are these all earmarked towards specific projects within the city?
They are not. This is the cash value of our investment portfolio.
So this is just money that we've invested?
Well, yes and no. Like the ARPA funds, yes, they're to be spent, but the balance of the monies there represent the funds that are in the funds in the city's operation.
Right. So let me just clarify. The 08 fund in particular is a reserve fund, and so it is dedicated to specific projects. And so a big portion of that $8.4 million is from the reserve fund, which is dedicated to certain projects. These are not funds that we can, I mean, they've been dedicated and we're saving them for certain projects. They can always be reallocated through the budget process, but that's where they're at.
And so do we have a time when we're going to be pulling these funds out just as they come and they're called? Will we be pulling them out, or will we be reinvesting them in this?
Well, as I said, when we have the maturities, we will reinvest. If they get called, obviously we get paid a premium for having it been called, and we reinvest that. But right now, this is the standard of where we are with our cash, and we keep it invested as best we can.
Thank you.
Are there any other questions? Council? Youth? Public comment? Anybody? Okay. Can I get a motion to accept the investment report as presented?
So moved.
Second.
Okay. Moved by Ms. Davis, second by Mr. Spicer-Coon. Is it? Okay. Got that loaded? Okay. All right. It's been moved and seconded, and calls for a roll call.
Yes.
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 Motion passes unanimously. Okay, as the mayor had to step out for a moment, I'm taking over. It's not a coup. City committee reports and liaisons. Any city committee reports?
Yes, I would like to report on something.
Okay, Ms. Durham.
Thank you. On April 5th, the Faith-Based Advisory Committee met. Mr. Hardin was present, and we were able to hear a great report from representatives that are working on the Stepping Stones Alliance. Kathy Lloyd, the foundation chair, was there, and she gave us a very thorough report on what they're doing. They're looking to have it all year round. realizing that the warming station is volunteer-based, but only operates for 100 nights, and it closes March 1st. Due to the weather, we know that the need continues as the weather keeps changing on us. So they've done a lot of research. They mentioned that Walla Walla has an alliance also for the homeless, and that they've also have researched other states, even Texas. I believe they also mentioned Atlanta, and Mr. Spicer Kuhn also sits on their board as well. So you are well aware of all of these things that they've been doing, but I was really impressed because they have 3 phases to the program. They want to be able to provide a sleeping center, which will be a little bit different because it'll open all year round. It will allow folks to be able to leave their belongings there. If they're also, wanting to move out of homelessness, it will allow them to leave their belongings so that in case they are looking for a job, going to job interviews, they don't have to carry their belongings with them. And they also want to help them so that they are self-reliant. And they've received some funds from the American Rescue Plan, and it would cover the western Umatilla County, and so that would include Hermiston, Umatilla, and other cities. The sleep center would be open at night and closed in the morning, and they would not do like drug testing, but people would have to behave real well in order for them to continue to stay there. And it would need to be fully staffed during the night. They will be looking for some volunteers, especially from 6 to 8 p.m. They would need 2 volunteers from 8 to 10 p.m. And like I said, open 365 days a year. They also are looking at having a navigation center. So please, these are just my notes, and I'm trying to remember everything that was said. So Mr. Spicer Kuhn, please correct me if I misunderstood something. Where they will also be working with other entities from the community like DHS, Community Counseling Solutions, Veterans Services, so that they are able to move to a housing center that would be a living arrangement for 2 people. So it would work with like work credit, and they would receive substance abuse help, mental health program. They looked at Texas. They have 75 acres outside of Texas dedicated for homeless. And so they're looking at different programs and how they are working and how they can incorporate some of that here to our local community. They're looking also at creating a partnership with Kayak for transportation. And, one of the things that were mentioned because Mrs. Lloyd interviewed someone, I believe, from Walla Walla that was a homeless person, and thankfully now, is living a fully functional life. One of the things that I guess touched me was the comment that she said that no one deserves to be discarded. And so I think that's what, what our take in the matter is, that we want to be able to be part of a positive change and to be able to address the problem, but also be able to assist those that are in that situation. So we heard a lot of information. Basically, I think that's what the meeting was about. We heard a little bit also from the Faith in Blue update. There was an update about that, but most of the meeting was about a report on the Stepping Stones Alliance. So I don't know if Mr. Spicer Kuhn, if there was anything else you would like to add, but I was really impressed with the overall information that was shared. It looks like, Mrs. Lloyd and the other volunteers that are helping her with this project have gone through great lengths in getting themselves informed of what other programs are like and applying it to see what will work in our community. one of the questions that I was asked, the concern that we had heard that, other folks maybe from other parts of Oregon that were thinking, that they could move to our area. What we learned also was that the mandate, there was a state mandate, I guess, that had asked communities to address the homeless situation by the year 2023. So all communities have to have some kind of plan in place to be able to address the issue. So all of us will be working towards the same goal. So I don't know whether that might alleviate some of the concerns that everyone from other counties will be moving to Umatilla County simply because we will have something in the near future.
Thank you. I'm going to turn this back over to the mayor now.
Thank you, Mr. President. So we're on city committee reports, right?
Yes.
Are there other members that have committee reports? Nothing? Okay. A couple things I'm going to comment about this evening. One, the upcoming EOTech, or the League of Oregon Cities Spring Symposium, Spring Conference, what is it called? Symposium, yes, April 21st and 22nd. I saw the registration numbers today. There's 144 participants. They wanted to cap it at 150, so this Friday is the last day to register. I think we'll reach that. There's 42 vendors, that's capped. They have no more ability to participate, or for vendors to participate. They've surpassed their fundraising goal to help pay for the event by double than what they did last time. So turnout's been excellent. Super excited about the event. I know 7 out of the 8 counselors are going to be there, other than your president. I think he's on a beach somewhere, right? I knew you had an excuse.
Just getting ready to send Lily an email telling her to sign me up.
So there are great turnout, great representation from all areas of the state, including Portland's mayor. Mayor Ted Wheeler will be here, Beaverton's mayor, Hillsboro's mayor. So you have some of the largest cities in the state that will be participating in the event. And some excellent opportunities for networking with your colleagues from across the state. And all areas of the state are coming, from South Coast to North Coast to Central Oregon and Eastern Oregon. So great opportunity to network and find out what the rest of the communities across the state are doing. On the 20th, if you have an opportunity, the Oregon Broadband Office has a meeting that they're going to be hosting up at EOTech, 3 o'clock. And, this is kind of a timely topic. We're pretty heavy into a conversation in the community about broadband. And so they're coming out to talk and listen and offer advice about shared successes across the state. So that's the 20th, 3 o'clock at EOTech. On the 19th, Senator Wyden will be hosting a town hall at 4 o'clock for Umatilla County. It will be virtual, although he will be in town that day in Hermiston, but the town hall will be virtual. So if you'd like to participate in that town hall, that is an open public meeting. So it's an opportunity for community members to attend and speak to the senator directly from Umatilla County. That's all I have. Any other council reports this evening? Yes, Mr. Ron?
Mayor, can you please repeat what time the broadband meeting was?
It was at 3 o'clock.
3?
3 p.m. Yep, up at EOTech.
Thank you.
Any other council reports? Yes, Ms. Peterson.
Well, I can say that I'm pretty excited about the LOC Symposium, I guess is what they're calling it, next week. Then I get to help host one of the breakout sessions on 8:30 on Friday, myself and another counselor, and then one of the LOC's lobbyists will be doing a DEI session, so that'll be fun. There will be fidget spinners, just letting you know. I made sure of it. I was like, all right, we've got to have something for people to play with. no one likes to sit still at 8:30 in the morning. So anyway, looking really forward to it, and by the sound of it, the turnout's going to be great, and it'll be an awesome opportunity to show that this side of the state is, well, we're just awesome. That's just all there is to it, and we get to show it off, and I love that.
Yeah, looking forward to it too. I think Byron is also a speaker at one of them on.
Mr. Morgan is also going to be
Mr.
speaking.
Morgan is also speaking. I'm hosting a tour, so yeah, Hermiston will be well represented. Other council reports. Okay, Mr. Smith. Oh, how about the youth advisors? Do you guys have anything this evening? Yes, Ms. Doherty.
Okay, is it on?
Yep.
So because of spring break, our council has not met yet to discuss everything that we've all seen in our councils. I believe we'll be having a meeting coming up, but I did want to give a shout out to Haley Gardner, who's here. She's a youth advisor. Hermiston High School recently had our student-led conferences, and those went really well. We had multiple businesses and community members come and help support. A lot of kids were able to look at job opportunities and various volunteer things that they could do in our community. So we had good community involvement and student involvement in those. And then one more thing I wanted to add was I was recently made aware that Stephen Greenwood, who is a Portland State professor, will be making a presentation about leadership training at the League of Oregon Cities Convention in Hermiston on April 22nd. He is involved in a couple of state councils. I believe a couple, or the main one is like a water council. So it would be a good opportunity for community members and council members to maybe see. And that is it.
Excellent. Thank you, Elizabeth. Julissa or Manuel, do you have anything? Okay. Well, I'm glad you're here this evening. Thanks for participating. Ms. Smith.
So just a couple of mostly construction updates. So North First Place should be avoided in the near future. And unfortunately or fortunately, you can look at it, it's going to be a center of construction for over the next probably 2 years. And so it'll be off and on and won't always be there, but it's going to be torn up. First, we're starting with the sewer project, then we'll go to another sewer project, then some water project, then finalizing that with a street project to overlay it, make it nice and smooth, and hopefully last for a long time without getting cut again. That's the plan. Then also, those of you who are on the west side of the city may have seen that Southwest 7th Street is all cut up and torn up, trying to address our lake problem that we have out there. It seems like the last few years. So that'll be for the next 2 to 3 weeks. I did get a great compliment from one of the neighbors, said the contractor was doing everything they could to make sure they could get in and out, and were able to address any concerns, so appreciated that feedback. And then City Hall continues to move forward at a good pace. Looks like the exterior is nearly completed as far as the brickwork. They'll be starting to install the siding on the front section, and so continuing to watch the progress over there. And then finally, as far as another LOC meeting, there is a small cities meeting this week where the LOC president's coming out. She'll be in Oregon on Wednesday, sorry. And so I am planning to attend. If there's any council that wanted to ride with me, I'd be happy to do that. But just a number of things going on, and with that, I'd be happy to, if there's any questions on any of the projects.
Yeah, Mr. Brown?
So with the First Place project, I guess what are we doing to support businesses on that street if it's going to if they're going to be inconvenienced for the next 2 years or so?
Well, each project will kind of reach out and try to do what we can, because it won't be all the time, but it's going to be, off and on. I know Mr. Morgan already had a conversation with one of the businesses that'll be affected by the sewer project, and the contractor obviously has already put up a sign trying to make sure everybody knows so that they can navigate around that. But each project will try to reach out, because they'll affect the businesses differently, just the way the projects are laid out. So, and especially as we get to the street project, we'll be communicating with everybody along that stretch. So, yeah, we're trying to be conscious and try to help the communication the best we can.
Thank you. I know even if it's not going to be consistently, the inconsistency of being able to operate that business would be difficult, especially after we've had this from COVID. It's a necessary thing to do, absolutely. I guess I just wanted to see what our response would be to help out the businesses.
Yeah, and we're just doing everything we can to let them know what the construction plan is, and there'll always be kind of detours and ability to get around, but it just becomes inconvenient. So, trying to let people know about that.
Individually to each business that's there and letting them know, or are we just putting up a sign and hopefully they come to us?
Well, I mean, like I said, each project is kind of different. That the first one is really just going to cut the street kind of right in one spot, and so that impacts people differently. But the contractors will be, it will be part of their assignment or part of their contract to go out and talk to the businesses that will be affected. So it's not just the signage, but the signage is a way that they can communicate, with a broader audience.
Okay. Any other questions from council? Mr. Smith, anything else?